Good morning, minions, and welcome to this week's instalment of No More Mr. Fat Guy TV. Now, this week it's probably going to be a bit shorter than it has been recently, due to a technical nightmare that's occurred now. The camera on my laptop has decided that it's not going to be recognised, it's not going to respond, so I'm just recording a video on the phone. Now, this week I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about. I'm not quite sure how long I'm going to go on about this given the change of format, but there's a couple of things, a couple of topics that were really burning away that I thought I might touch on. First of all, I think last week, anybody that's reading the Facebook page and the blog will know I had a bit of a training meltdown. It culminated with I think it's 24k long run, of which about 4k was actually walked in the end, and an injury that's sort of a muscle strain in the abs that's kind of been there on and off for quite a while. Finally, sort of actually started interfering with the running side. I stopped for a water break and just couldn't get going again. I just basically walked the last 4 kilometres until things eased up a bit, and then ran for about 500 metres. So yes, I had my first taste of injury related disappointment. I have to say that that experience has actually been a pretty positive one overall, because during the course of this week, it's shown firstly how amazing the Facebook running community is, with all the words of support and all the encouragement, all the sort of messages, the saying "don't let it get to you" and "don't let it get you down." It's also been a very timely reminder of that I'm not maybe quite as superhuman as I hoped. I do have to remember that I'm a 44-year-old, nearly 45. My body does have limits. It doesn't like being pushed too hard too soon, and that's really kind of what's happened, is that it has been a case of pushing too hard too soon, getting carried away with some of the successes that have occurred in recent times. Sort of getting carried away with the fact that the way that the paces have been improving, and just feeling as though that I need to be hitting certain paces on a long run on a Sunday. That's patently not true. I've a reminder from my body that that's not the case, and I've also had some good advice from some runners, other runners online, and in particular, from Jackie, the coach, Fitzbarrow. So this weekend, having spent, I think, 2 days of rest this week, a little bit of cross training and a tempo run yesterday. Basically, I'm looking forward to this weekend. Friday today is a rest day. Tomorrow will be a light 5k run. I'm actually volunteering at Park Run this weekend, so that'll be interesting. And then on Sunday I've got I think 25.7k run lined up, and I promise I will be taking that as easy as I can, and just really sticking to a pace that's nice and relaxed and comfortable, and making sure that this body actually gets around the whole of the distance. And I think psychologically that will be a massive boost. But I think that's something that's worth bearing in mind for everybody, is that and probably not just for running. It's probably another one of these things where it's sort of running teaching you sort of a life lesson as well. Don't walk before you go on a run. Don't run faster than you can before you can. It was a very timely reminder for me, and hopefully. Maybe somebody out there might heed my lesson. If you're just at the point where you're taking your running to the next level, and you're starting to see some good results, don't expect everything to be just this steady forward progression. There will be setbacks. There will be setbacks that you can't do anything about. There will be setbacks that you probably could do something about, because like in this case, like with me pushing on too hard, too fast, too soon. But whatever the source and however it happens, setbacks are just temporary, and as long as you don't let things get to you, as long as you allow people around you to give you the support that will be forthcoming, because that's what this community is like, then you will get through it, and everything will basically be fine. Now, the other topic I wanted to touch on was actually something I was reading this morning, and it was I've kind of posted my answer to this person anyway, but I want to mention it on the video so that it can get out to people who aren't part of the group. I won't mention any names, I won't mention any particular circumstances, but there was this individual, this lady who is basically looking forward to running her first marathon, and as I think has already booked that in towards the end of this year. Now, she said that through various circumstances, she's ended up talking to somebody with quite a lot of running experience, and somebody who she actually has quite a lot of respect and time for in terms of running, and is a well-known sort of running personality in her area. And they got onto the conversation about the marathon, and she's basically got told, not in so many words, but was basically told that it was a silly idea, that she shouldn't be thinking about a marathon yet, that you need a couple of years of running experience behind you, and you need to be running sort of a minimum number of kilometres per week as your base before you start thinking about training. And it really sort of started to make this lady doubt herself, and really start to sort of wonder whether she'd done the right thing going ahead, booking her place in the marathon, and whether it would be achievable. Now, fortunately, a whole bunch of people in that group kind of rallied round and posted very similar messages. But I just want to reiterate really what I wrote, and that really was to I posted a very, very brief version of my story, not for the sake of telling the story again, not to make it about me, but really just to try and illustrate and to highlight, that anybody can train for a marathon. You don't need that kind of experience, and B, if if it's something you really want to go after and something you want to do, then you can. My story was straightforward. It was that at the end of December 2011, I was 142.6 kilos. I was 42 years old. I was out of shape. I had a lifetime of smoking, and basically, many years of not exercising, sitting at a desk, drinking the wrong things and eating the wrong things. Basically, I spent about 6 months, so the first half of 2012, establishing a foundation, basic foundation of fitness. Then sort of the latter half of 2012 really starting to evolve into the running side of things. I got brave enough or stupid enough to put my hand up for a 10k fun run. I think that was in September 2012, and then basically went about, just went into panic mode, and was and went on the treadmill, and even went outside eventually. To run 10 kilometres a few times to make sure I could do it, and to make sure I could do it within, I think, 90 minutes. I'd figured that I'd need to do it in. My average, I guess in that time, that second half of 2012, I was averaging per week, not even 10 kilometres a week. Once the running kicked in, I wasn't doing anything like, the kind of distance that this guy was suggesting. And I certainly probably wasn't even averaging 10 kilometres a week. But the running thing had kind of started, and so when I when 2013 rolled over, I started thinking about my original goal. My original goal was to take part in and complete a marathon. So beginning of 2013, I basically registered for the Perth Marathon. At this point, I think my running experience, I'd been running for 6 months. I hadn't, actually been running, but if you wanted to say when I first started doing any running at all, then you'd really be looking second half of 2012. hadn't run very far, certainly wasn't very fast, wasn't confident that I could do any more than 10Ks. But I basically went online and found a beginner's marathon training program at running.about.com, and basically then spent 20 weeks getting to following that program. The long runs got longer, and I started doing more and more kilometers per week. And it got to the point that, but even on that the longest of the long runs, it was a 32k run, and at the end of it I'd sort of still found I had to walk a little bit, but that wasn't going to put me off. I was that close to the marathon at this point. And then June the 16th, I think it was June the 16th 2013, I basically took part in the Perth Marathon, and completed it. 6 hours 47 minutes, but I completed it. And all I would say is that it was hard work getting there. It was hard work. That 20 weeks was a long time. There's a lot of time spent running. There's a lot of time and effort, a lot of mental stuff going on, and there is no word for it other than the fact that it was a lot of hard work, but it was very worthwhile. The day itself was it was tough. There was a time when I was walking from Canning Bridge, a section up the freeway where I just really coming back over the hill for the second time had really sort of destroyed my energy levels, had really destroyed my spirit in many ways. And there was a section where I was just walking, and I didn't even know. I'm not sure what distance I had left at the time. It was, I was inside the last 10Ks, but I wasn't even sure I could continue walking the whole way. It was tough. And maybe if I'd had more experience under my belt and I had more years of running, it would have been easier. But at the end of the day, I got lucky on that day. I think there's a couple of people that accompanied me at various points along that final section, and eventually I got over the line. 6 hours 47, almost 6 hours 48. And the moment I crossed that finish line was just, the feeling was incredible. The sense of accomplishment was out of this world, and it's not an exaggeration to say that that moment, that process, just getting to that finish line and the point of crossing that finish line, it really changed everything. It changed my life. It showed me that I don't hate running. I actually love running. It gave me my first genuine passion. There have been so many things over the years that I've sort of thought I was interested in, and tried my hand at and tried making it go of. Running has been a constant. Getting fit and then running has been a constant thing now since January 2012. So just over 2 years. It's something I've actually stuck at. Running is a genuine passion of mine, and that all came basically through that process and crossing that line. That's what it gave me, and has been given to me ever since. So had somebody told me that there's no way I could do a marathon, unless I'd had 2 years of running experience, I would still be building up that experience now. I would still be thinking, I've got another 6 months to go or whatever before I can start thinking about training for a marathon. Had an expert, and somebody who knew better than me, giving me that advice, I would have missed out. Certainly, like the last 8 months. The last 8 months of my life have been absolutely amazing. There have been so many changes, so many wonderful things that are happening. If I'd listened to somebody like that who knew better than me, I wouldn't be running in the London Marathon in April this year. I wouldn't be, I wouldn't have an online fundraising page at the moment that's currently showing over $2,000 raised for the Heart Foundation. That's not to show off, that's not to brag, that's just to basically say, these are the kind of amazing things that are going on because I guess I was you know, ignorance is bliss. I was ignorant of the fact. I didn't know that you needed to do that, and reality is that, you know, you don't need to have that 2 years experience behind you. And you know, the same would apply for anything that you genuinely have this passion to go after and this desire to achieve. You know, you're going to get experts that will tell you that it can't be done. You get naysayers that will tell you that it's not possible. And really, you know, that's the point where you need to start listening to your heart, listening to what it is that you want to do, and basically, you know, following your own instincts and going after what you want. And if you can do that, then you know, I think I'm proof that you know, that things are possible. And I think one of the sponsors of the running shirts, you know, Liz, you know, her page is anything is possible, and that's certainly something that I'm a subscriber to. That's a philosophy that I am, you know, 100% believer in. You know, anything is possible. You just have to allow yourself to believe it and allow yourself to go for it. And don't. I mean, take advice. You know, get some good input and do some good research, but don't allow anybody to completely destroy your dreams. You know, the power is yours, the control is yours. So if you're going to go for it, and do so, you know, fully committed with all your heart into it, and you'll end up with a meaningful experience. You'll end up with something, you know, you'll achieve something amazing, and you'll be glad that you did. And so on that note, hopefully this will work fine. I'll be able to transfer it onto the website easily, and I'll speak to you next week, and hopefully the laptop will be all sorted. Bye now.